Hi, I'm Michael Matthews. I am running the playtest of Slings and Arrows role-playing game, doing along with the Gauntlet. It's a Gauntlet Hangouts game, so all of the inclusion policy is in place, as well as safety tools. We've got lines and veils, as well as a palette that we had gone over in the first session, and X card is also in effect. Someone can just either hold up an X or type it into the chat if that happens. We're also currently using Roll for Your Party, because the other one we did had some problems when one showed up, which was not a problem that I had. It's fine for the other game it's used for. So yeah, there's also a thing in there where you can click. So there's a number of options as far as that goes. Okay. Anyway, I'm Michael Matthews. Have created this based on the television series Slings and Arrows. It is about actors, and particularly community theater actors, who are doing a show and seeing the things in that show, how it impacts their lives. What we are doing is a comedy of errors in a Shakespearean style with a prince who has been mistaken for a pauper and vice versa. The Princess Schmetterling, who is a fiancée of that prince. So we want to go around if you want to introduce yourself and your actor and your character. You want to start with, I'm showing Dan, Vasily, and then Pearl.
All right, I am Dan Pusel. I am that self-same prince. Let me see. In real life, my character's name is Tom Oberst. He's a assistant brewer at the local brew pub. But on stage, he is Prince Connor, the reluctant prince, estranged twin to, let me see here, to Stefano, and fiance, at least temporarily estranged, to Princess Schmetterling.
Hi, I'm Vasilis. I am playing Albert Narcis. He's in real life, he's a real estate agent, divorced. In the play, he plays King Schafskäse, which means sheep milk, and he's the father of Princess Schmetterling. And he also plays another role, a smaller role maybe, Teddy. And that's it for now.
I'm Pearl. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Professor Jane Dally Rollins. She's an adjunct and as such is treated rather poorly by the university. Doesn't get paid well, doesn't really have benefits, but she's sort of overqualified and just grins and bears it, because there are not enough jobs. But she has to suffer the arrogance of visiting scholar / guest lecturer Ambrose von Reibenfeld, who gets paid way more than she does to do a lot less work, but is renowned in his field and has some social markers that make people take him more seriously just for being who he is. Not that we know anything about that. She's also attempting some online dating and has been on 3 dates with Jim, but isn't sure how she feels about him. And tries to keep on the good side of her boss, Kathy, the head of her department, who is always cheery, but almost never helpful and is often actively unhelpful. I'm playing Princess Schmetterling in the play. Schmetterling is the really, light and beautiful word for butterfly in German, Schmetterling. And I am in fact engaged to the Prince Stefano. No, sorry, not Prince Stefano, Prince Connor, who seems to have disappeared. I don't think I've realized that he's disappeared yet, but I was confronted very rudely, extremely rudely by Margie, the counselor, the royal counselor who was looking for him, who insisted upon barging into my room to search for him. She thought I was hiding him like some sort of harlot. I would never hide a male person in my princessy room. And when I tried to tell her to get lost, invited guards in to search everything. And while I couldn't technically stop them, I did let them all know that once I was queen, I would be beheading them for their insolence. So that's pretty much where we left off with the princess. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next.
All right. So in that case, what we're going to do is go ahead and enter into Act 2. Things become a bit more difficult as far as what was the person in the hole we chose? Actually, here a tiny bit more easily as it starts to get a little bit harder. Actually, we chose comedy instead of the person in the hole. Yeah, where it kind of steps its way up. Anyway, which probably not a bad place to start. Might be with Princess Schmetterling. So, is there after the counselor has shown up? Is there someone in particular that you wanted to speak to, or do you want me to have something with either you and the king or you and the Stefano?
I would say either me and the king or me and Stefano, either one.
Might be fun to let the let Vasilis get a little bit of a legs underneath him with two PCs doing stuff. I can bring Stefano in.
Yeah.
If it feels like that'll be an interesting thing.
Yes.
All right.
I just played my first game with Celie the other day, and he is very delightful to play with. So I'm looking forward to seeing what mayhem ensues.
Okay. So so Vasily, I'll let you decide. Do you want to have so the counselor Monica is also your spy master, and so there may be reasons for her to be somewhat suspicious of Prince Connor. If you want, I can leave that to you, or if you want, or rather that she might be more actively scheming. I can leave that to you to possibly come up, or do you want me to come up with a thing for that?
I think it would make sense, for the king to meet the spy master. I'm not sure how much the king. So the planned wedding is between Princess Schmetterling and Prince Connor.
Yep.
And we don't know that there's a doppelganger. We don't know that, of course.
Correct.
And then the last scene was Monica in not interrogating, but spying on the princess in her quarters.
Closer
I mean,
to
I was there,
yeah.
so it wasn't really spying technically.
Okay.
It was invading, I feel.
Okay, so I the king can ask, can have a scene with the counselor.
Okay.
And maybe scheme something, or we'll
Okay.
see.
Do well, actually, would you rather start with you and the princess and then do something with the council?
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
can do that.
let's do that. So yeah, the guards have left your room.
All right, so I storm down to I'm gonna say not like my parents' bedroom chamber, probably would be improper, but sort of the room where my father, the king, who I'm going to remind myself of the delightful name that you came up with, if I can get the screen.
Schafskäse, it's complicated.
Schafskäse.
It's complicated.
So yes, to the room where King Schafskäse conducts sort of like routine palace business, hearing about the townspeople and whatever else. And so I knock first, but then I storm in, like without waiting. And I'm like, Daddy!
The king is sitting on his throne with a glass of his favorite beverage, milk wine. Daughter, what manners are these? Come in.
Manners, you say? Manners? I don't suppose then that you know anything about Monica barging into my chambers with guards, one of whom was male, and going through my personal things and saying she was authorized to do so and had all this power and I should watch out for her as though I were the person working for royalty and not the princess.
Daughter, you're overexcited. It's emotional. You're being emotional because of your wedding. It's all reasonable. Me and Monica and all the guards, we are taking after you. We only want your best. Well, don't worry about her. She knows what she's doing. But tell me, how do you feel about the prince?
I feel like he wasn't hiding in my chambers and that having a male guard looking through my underthings is the biggest insult that I've had ever in my entire life, and that Monica actively threatened me, and so you're saying that she has my best interests at heart is probably false.
Daughter, come here. Have some of this beverage. And he pours her a second cup. Here, take some of this and
Of milk wine.
think about this.
You know, Daddy, alcohol doesn't solve all your problems, but fine. So I would drink a little bit of milk wine.
Now, are you sure you haven't been seeing the prince?
Of course I'm sure. How improper would it be for me to be meeting him without a chaperone before we're married? Surely you wouldn't think me.
Exactly. No. I'm trying to understand if he has an ulterior motive, you know, because his kingdom is much less, how should I put it, capable and strong than ours. And I hope. Actually, this is out of character. I don't know. Do we go out of character in this? I'm not sure what you said about the kingdoms before.
So it's an arranged marriage, so you would be in on that.
Okay.
It's understood that he would be coming here. In my mind, because I am actually like the member of royalty in this kingdom, I, as the queen, would have a fair measure of power once we were married and you and the queen vacated your roles, either through, one day passing away eventually or deciding to pass the torch, however it would go. It wouldn't be immediately when we got married, and it wouldn't be necessarily anytime soon, but we would together ascend to the throne of this kingdom.
And it can also help. Dan, does Prince Connor have any kind of reputation or anything? Because you're playing as someone whose interest in possibly being a ruler maybe are not his number one interests.
I think he. Let's see here. Like a reputation as sort of a gadabout or a ne'er do well.
However you see him, what might people think of him?
I think he might be a bit of an airhead. I think that's what I've discovered about him so far. I think that probably comes off to most people he meets.
Yeah. So the king. Yeah. So we've arranged the marriage with the prince. The prince's parents, I assume. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if the king really wants this, or perhaps the king doesn't really want it, but the queen has forced him to do that. I don't know. I don't know if we should plan this as like the motivation of the characters, or if we should just keep playing it in the scene. See how it happens. We'll then go on anyway.
So then I've just taken the milk wine, yeah?
Yep.
Are you...
Yeah, I'm trying to understand if his motivation, like the king's. Let's see.
I can keep pushing it about Monica if that would be helpful. as
I
a
could also
conflict.
I could also add in a queen if you want. If you want it to be her idea.
I think maybe the king doesn't really want the he's trying to find excuses to cancel the wedding or something. Maybe he doesn't really want to be cast aside by the newer couple. Or if there is another idea, we can also play with an entrance of the queen if you feel like it.
I'm happy either way. Like, because of how we sort of because we established my character as being rather headstrong in the last one, I would be happy to continue being pushy, but I also would be happy to meet with Queen Mum. I mean, I don't know what her name is. Do we have a name for the queen? I don't think we do yet, but she's my mum, so to me, she's Queen Mum. So whatever you prefer. Or anybody else prefers. For the record, you can't see it probably, but I am still holding my imaginary milk wine.
Me too.
So yeah, somebody make
so-
a decision and we can do whatever we like.
So how about this point that the queen comes in?
Okay.
I heard some yelling from the hall.
It's your wife. It's nothing. We're just our daughter seems to be having some issues with the behavior of the spy master and the guests.
Oh, spy master's Monica's job is to keep everyone safe. What possible problem could you have?
That she threatened me.
How so?
That I should know who had the power around here, as though she had more power than I did, and that I should stay on her good side. And she barged into my room with guards and sort of interrogated me and let the guards look through my things. One of those guards was male, very improper. And when I tried to protest, she was absolutely impertinent and continued to do whatever she liked and to intimate that if I did not cooperate, she would, retaliate against me in some way.
Could you imagine the scandal if there was the prince of this other smaller realm found in your bedchamber before the matrimony had actually happened?
Yes, I can imagine the scandals, which is exactly why I would never have the prince in my chambers, which is why the whole search was absolutely ridiculous, especially without warning like that. Like, I could have been in my... In fact, I think I was in my night clothes. I mean, it was mortifying, and I have never done anything to warrant the suspicion that I am being treated with by her or by you, Mom. I don't even know why you would treat me this way. I have always been, attendant to my princessly duties. I've learned to weave. I've learned to sing and to play the harp. I have impeccable handwriting with both a quill and a dip pen. And I would never, under any circumstances, have a man of any sort, let alone my betrothed, in my chambers without a chaperone.
Okay, I went ahead and rolled for her. So, about an average thing, it's got a d4 for the deck, so I've got a total of 6.
Okay.
So if you want to choose which character you'd like to stake.
I will choose, I guess, Kathy. Even though the queen doesn't seem very cheery, she is the female who has power over me.
Mm-hmm.
So I will. I forget how I pick.
So you basically you can choose.
Oh, that's right.
Which of the basically what die you want to roll, which will stake it at the 1, 2, or 3, and then if you succeed, it goes onto that. You would fill in the 1, you highlight that. If you fail, it goes to whatever die you staked it to.
So I was gonna do I think a D6.
Okay.
The introduced conflicts, the middle one, right?
hmm
Okay. So I roll 1d6.
Yeah, then it seems like you're either sort of convincing or connecting with mom, but probably a little more convincing, which is also a D6.
Okay. I don't usually roll well, but whatever. A 3. So.
You had one more D6.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, well, did you stake the die at a D6?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Tom's. Uh, yeah. Would you say you were connecting or convincing?
I think convincing.
Okay, so then
I don't
you'd
think
you'd
we're
roll a
connecting very well. So.
then you would roll a D4 for your convince along with the D6 for the relationship and then your stat.
Okay. So I will add a D4.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a total of 4
Okay.
out of a possible 10 because I roll always that way.
Go ahead, and I would go ahead and stake Kathy, or I'd highlight up to level 2 for Kathy, since that's the D6.
Where's the stupid fill button? Here it is. Okay.
I need to put this little place where you can put X's, which I'll do on the next pass. Okay, then she's like, you realize, and she kind of takes you aside a little bit, and she's like, you realize that she's only looking out for your own good, because if you were to count the months between your birth and when we married, you might find that we barely managed to evade a small scandal.
Well, I don't think your impropriety means that I would behave similarly improperly, and I think perhaps that's why you've raised me so strictly. I didn't quite know that was the situation, but maybe that's why I've been raised with such an emphasis on being appropriate, and I have tried to live up to that ideal. I object less to the overall search than to her threatening me and implying that you and Daddy would allow her to harm or otherwise retaliate against me for just exercising my rights as a princess to have a say over who barges into my chambers at night and looks through, my private things. She did not seem to have my well-being at heart. She seemed to be making a lot of intimations that were untrue and to be, threatening me and also trying to put me in my place as though she were the member of royalty and not me. And she seemed to imply that you had given her the idea that she actually had a higher position in the castle than I do.
When it comes to matters of security, when it comes to matters of state, where she has to keep everything from exploding, then yes, she does. I will talk with her about being nicer to you in the future. It turned out that he was not there. The thing that she was worried about, that, be honest, if my parents would have, if your grandparents, the previous king and queen, had thought that, well, he had been in my chambers when he indeed was, they would have raised heaven and earth to make sure he wasn't there. You've proven yourself to be honest and trustworthy. I'm sure Monica will understand that, and if she is zealous in putting out her duties, it's only because she protects the kingdom.
Like I said, if she had insisted that it was on your orders but been nice about it, it's one thing, but I do not enjoy being threatened by the castle staff.
In the future, you and Monica should become better friends because you realize that, well, Prince Connor is not particularly intelligent, so the person who's going to be ruling, doing most of it, will be you.
I am quite aware, as you are the one who arranged my marriage to the simpleton. But, it will be my duty as princess and then as queen to marry my betrothed and to take over the duties of the kingdom. And perhaps Monica should remember that I will be the one ruling the kingdom. And she might want to become better friends with me.
I'll speak to her, but just be certain that all was meant for the best.
I believe that you believe that, Mommy. I know that you care about me. And I'm sure that after you speak to Monica, she will never speak to me that impertinently again.
They did find Prince Connor. He was not only in the village, he was dressed like a peasant.
Well, I didn't arrange the marriage. So thank you for informing me of the impropriety of my future one and only love. I will do what I can to ensure that he doesn't bring our kingdom to ruin.
All right. From there, and we'll pop back to the king and Monica here in a little bit, but let us pop to the real Prince Connor. So you have had Sylvia take you into. You're going up to the castle.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. You pass by some people as you're kind of going through, and you disguise yourself, or rather, they disguise you. Did they? Am I thinking of a different game?
I don't recall them disguising me.
Okay. So she may have put like a helmet or something, just something so you don't kind of stick out, because they saw you coming. As you go by, you hear a couple like servants in the halls talking. It's like, did you see what the prince was wearing? That looked like that hadn't been washed in weeks. Like how did he even have something like that? I mean, dressing like a commoner is one thing, but he really went for it. And Sylvia's like, what is going on?
Sylvia, do you know how often they wash my secret peasant costume?
You have a secret peasant costume?
Never mind. I don't have a secret peasant costume. Sylvia, this is important. We need to look for me. I am somewhere in this castle, and I don't know where I am. Do you have any idea where I am, Sylvia?
Well, besides right here, they probably would have taken you to your chambers. It probably to wash up.
Very good, Sylvia. Yes, to my chambers. Let's go. I can find it myself if you'd like. I think I recall where my chambers are. Although I don't know exactly where we are in the castle right now. So I need to find myself in order to find my chambers and find myself.
Okay.
Let's see. Do they have maps posted in this castle?
No. Here, well, I think we're sort of going this way, and as you start walking, you start walking, you hear like another guard, also played by Helene Godot, she played Ronald the Thief, and Davos, another guard, comes in. Halt! What are you doing in this part of the castle?
Sylvia, best to answer him.
Oh, we're supposed to head to the prince's room to wash up some of the clothing for his secret. Kind of looks at you. Secret costume.
I'm the clothing specialist. They send me in for the dirtiest clothes. That's why they call me Laundry Larry.
Why are you wearing a guard's helmet then?
Keeps the smells out. It's important that I not inhale the smells of the dirtiest clothes in this castle, or else I might be driven insane.
She kind of like looks at you just, and then comes. Oh, sorry. He kind of like, and then comes forward. I have a helmet on, and I can smell you just fine.
This is a special helmet. It's a special helmet to disguise that I have no nose. Ergo, you may ask, how do I smell? The answer, no, it's terrible.
Okay, I'll see. Go ahead and roll. Let's see how well that guy, I love how stupid he is. Or I can throw in the D4 and the D8 for.
Oh, okay.
For me.
And what are we thinking here? This is I guess a convince. That's what I've got. And I will stake my relationship with my boss up to a D4.
Okay.
Okay, so a D4 and a D6.
Well, I got a 10.
All right.
This is probably not going to go well for you.
See what we get. 8. Okay.
Just- But I can see your nose.
Oh,
It doesn't cover your nose entirely.
I must be wearing the wrong helmet.
Reaches over, kind of grabs a helmet, and oh my god! This the prince, and then you hear footsteps, kind of coming quick. In comes Monica. Actually, no, I'm sorry. At this point, because Monica is also played by Sylvia, so that can't happen. So there's kind of like narrows her eyes. It's like, you're coming with me, Sylvia. You too. Pulls a sword.
All right, another adventure. Fantastic. Remind me again, since I failed this roll, do I highlight up to 2 or just fill up 1?
I think you filled it to a D. You just used a D4, and that one had not been staked already.
Correct.
Okay, so it'll just be the 1.
Okay.
Now, because if you had staked it at like a D6, it would have filled to the 2. If it had a D8, it would have filled to the 3.
Okay.
But let's say you had a D8 and you succeeded, it would have then just gone 1. It'll just raise by 1 for those.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Okay. So they take you, and at this point, there's a very quick blackout. There is a little bit enough time for Alma to very quickly change, and then come back on for a scene with the king. So your spy master approaches. Climb to him. King.
Monica, I've received some complaints from my daughter about your behavior, but what was the situation in her quarters?
I think you'll agree that your daughter is rather headstrong.
Oh, she takes that from her mother.
She's rather headstrong, and if she were to have taken an interest in the king, or the prince rather, a little earlier than she should have, it wouldn't surprise me if she were to hide him, have him somewhere in the room so that we came, they wouldn't be able to find her. And with the amount of kickback that I got from her when just trying to do my duty to make sure that this kingdom does not have a scandal, I had to assert some authority to remind her that she is not the number one power in the kingdom, and I work for that power.
Well, but you didn't find anything, though. I mean, she didn't actually let you search anything, right? Did you look under her bed? Did you, in her closet? Everything.
I looked all the places you would have hidden at your age.
Well, that's a lot of places. Did you search the top of the bed, the bed frame, the royal bed? You did. That's good. I taught you to look everywhere. Yeah, but what is this I hear that there is the prince dressed as a pauper outside the castle? What is that?
It's nothing to worry about. He merely wanted to get to know the people a little bit better. It just seems as he hopes at some point to be quite a man of the people.
However, if he was in the quarters, it means he was able to get in the castle and out of the castle without you taking notice. Isn't that right, Monica?
She goes like kind of quiet, and then just eyes narrow a little bit. Goes, we do not often keep absolute track of him. We realize we found him very quickly. We certainly did not think he would be going to dally amongst the poor.
Well, I've had to say it's one success and one one case of slight incompetence, I would say. On your side, we need to make this work. I know he's an idiot, but we need to keep track of him. You realize this is an important. I mean, the only reason we are arranging this marriage, I mean, at least I am, is because the prince's kingdom has a lot of good sheep, and we need it. I need it.
Okay. Just seeing Pearl just going. That's in my log. So I rolled for her as far as this conflict goes. I figured it's a D4 right now because of the act, and I figured it would be a fairly average thing, so a D6. I did happen to roll for it a 6, so it is a 10 on there.
I'm sure what if I'm trying to, let's say I'm trying to connect, convince. I think I'm trying to scold her and to make sure she keeps track of the prince. So that would be, let's see, convince, threat. Well, if it's not threaten. Could be threatened.
I could see it as threatened because that was sort of like, oh, you screwed up and didn't catch this, which is that sort of underhanded.
Okay, so let's do. I'm gonna go to D6 on his threaten, and just to get to make sure I'm getting this right, so I'm gonna map a real world relationship in this relationship, right? Is that what? Okay.
Yeah. So what you're basically telling me is this is the relationship that I want to explore after this, and it will have a thematic connection.
Okay.
But also, Pearl, if you want to open up a little bit above, I put back in the link with the edit tags on it. So if you scroll up and pop that up, you'll actually be able to edit it.
I am able to edit it.
Oh, was it Dan who was it? Dan, same thing. That's up there. Sorry, I saw the Pearl there. And
Also, just to check, Celis, are you seeing the chats?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm.
It's okay if you're not. I just noticed that.
The chat messages, you mean? I haven't looked at it for a while. Yeah.
Totally okay. I just wanted to, because you hadn't chimed in. I wanted to make sure you knew there was an option for chat in case you wanted to, like something like that happened and you wanted to.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, I see it now. Okay, so I think I'm gonna stake the relationship with this recurring and frustrating client that I have. Keeps going back and forth on property. Indecisive. So basically, my second relationship, and so I can choose. I can start from anything, or is it because this is my first the first role? Is it always introduce the character like D4, or can I also?
No, that those are more sort of
the curves, or
those are more sort of letting us know like. Is it the first time? It's fairly easy. If you've got like if it's only been staked once, you're most likely to succeed. So it's just a D8. But you can it kind of depends on if you win or lose. So you stake it the D4 to D8.
Okay, I'm gonna do a D6. So I'm gonna try it on a D6. So I'm gonna roll 2 D6s. Oops, that's more than oops, okay, these are not relevant. Okay, so that's a 6, okay, not that good. Yeah, that's a 6, and did you roll a 10?
Yeah, I got a 6 and a 4 on that one. I thought that would not succeed.
I think you're muted.
Oh,
or...
yeah, I got that. I got a 10 on
okay.
On that D6 and D4.
Yeah, so I think, I don't know, maybe Monica's going to phase me with her insight or something that she knows that surprises me or something. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think as I recall, you just kind of gone on about how she hadn't discovered this person sneaking out and all of that. I remember the last bit of what you said.
Yeah. So, Monica, I mean, you searched my daughter's quarters, but you you proved a bit incompetent in tracking the prince around the castle, if I may say so. So you need to be more diligent. You need to do your work. Otherwise, when Schmetterling, when the princess is queen, I'm not going to be on your side. Or did you want me to switch? But I basically repeated what I said before
Yeah.
in a different.
Yeah, she's like, we allow all of the royals here fairly easy run of the castle. Thing we want. We don't have people trying to stop them when they're going places. Sometimes even a little bit outside the castle. It might be good for you to remember that we also do not keep incredibly close tabs on your comings and goings. And some of the things that you do are things that maybe you don't want everybody to know. I could crack down on everyone if necessary, or more just keep an eye on this particular prince.
I appreciate your candor, Monica. Just stay on the prince. You've done a good job so far. Thanks for the reminder. Just yes, let's make sure the prince is tracked and the wedding goes well, and you can just you don't have to remind me of the other things that are going on. Don't tell anyone. Don't mention that. So yes, I think we are. You are ready. You can leave. Leave.
And then before it goes to the real life phase, there is a quick scene where she leaves. It goes black. It comes up, and you've got like almost like a magic circle on the floor, and the prince, Stefan, is standing in the center of it, like almost sort of out of it. Door opens, and in comes the. Move this back over to see Monica, the counselor. It looks like she smiles. She takes like a large book and puts it on a bit of a podium. Opens it up, looks at him just standing there, and goes, "Now, see the and just starts like reading in this language as the lights kind of go down, and we cut to real world." Okay, why don't we start with Dan? We had you waiting for a bit. So you wanted to go with your boss.
Yeah, let's go with Jeremy, my boss.
Okay. How are things with your boss in general?
Pretty chill, pretty cool. Like he's pretty understanding that I can't work certain evenings. Let me see here. He's cool with that. Like I get the job done, and when I'm late, like that's not great, but I try not to be. It is also like this is my other passion besides working at the theater is making beer for the people.
Okay. So, as you come in, there's he's kind of in his office. And he's been in there most of the night. Usually he's out and about having some drinks, talking to people. I mean, it's the kind of person that owns these sort of local breweries, often enjoys, particularly when they're fairly young and own these breweries. Like, they enjoy that aspects of it. But it's weirdly kind of kept to himself this evening.
Hey, what's up, Jeremy? You doing okay?
Hey, and he's got, like, a bunch of books in front of him, like ledgers and logs, and he's got like a big stack of like receipts and such from it has to be a while. I mean, usually so much of the stuff is done through like a big printout at the end of the night that he's got kind of quite a bit there. He goes, hey Tom, yeah, I think it's going fine.
All right. I mean, we have a pretty decent house out there in the tap room. If you like, I know that's kind of your thing, being the face, being the guy. All right, going over some books, man.
Yeah, can you shut the door?
Yeah, sorry.
There's some stuff in the books we haven't been keeping track of. We were supposed to, and like, we just got hit with an audit.
Oh, cool.
So-
oh no.
So I'm looking through and trying to figure out what we're going to be able to do.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's going to be okay.
Okay.
But I really don't know.
Yeah, man. Okay. I'm gonna be super upfront. I don't really understand what audits entail, and I'm speaking both as Tom and also as me, Dan. I'm not really 100% on how those work, but I know it sounds terrible. Is there anything I, Tom, can do to be helpful in this situation? Like, it sounds like it might be a money situation.
Did you ask him about? Is that what you say to him, or are you talking more out of character with Dan?
That's what I'm talking
with
about.
Thomas. Okay, he just goes, you don't strike me as the mathy type or the accountant type, Tom. So
yeah, I'm good at measuring, like, we need this, this many hops and this many pallets of barley, but I'm not great at, like, spreadsheets.
yeah, I just think one of the big things right now is maybe not don't let people worry. Don't tell them that things might not be here in a month.
Whew, okay.
I don't know if I mentioned that. I think it's going to be okay. I think we're going to find out what happened, but this tax bill is. If we don't figure out what happened, it's bad.
Okay. Ooh.
And out of character, my apologies if that's not quite how those things work. I also am not that. we're going with the fictional. Here's a problem.
Yeah, I like it. All right, man. Well, like, my short-term, long-term memory is, like, kind of shot to hell. So good news is, as soon as I leave here, I'll probably forget it. Oh man. Okay. I'll go man the taps. Pour some beers, make a little dough. Yeah, man. All right. Is there anything I can do for you? Like, you're my dude.
So just give me a beer, and I think we'll be good.
Sounds good. We got, I think we got a wit, a pale, like 7 different IPAs.
Okay, that's probably seems like a good place to cut.
Cool.
Okay, with the level 1, I don't always push for conflict because some of that can be just introducing. Here's the setup. So next time we come to it, if it gets to the 2 or 3, the conflict is kind of happens pretty quick. So move this over. And so you had the you're the client at a level 1.
I staked at level 2,
Oh.
so and I failed. But does that mean I highlight up until 1?
Highlight the 2. So if you fail, it goes to the place that you staked it to. So basically, it goes to that die. Otherwise, it just raises 1 from what it was before. Okay, so we've got the conflict. I just let you know from, like, under the hood. The thing with Dan's story is they got caught. So since you got caught coming in, I took that idea of getting caught, but I changed who that was happening to. So now he's got the thing here, and I think with and then we had the king got called out. Things did not go particularly well. So thematically, we've got your client who keeps coming back. So tell me a little about your relationship with this client.
Yeah, Mr. Roberts. Well, first of all, I think I need a big. I need some money, especially also to pay. I mean, my wife is also. Maybe I think with my wife, I'm in the middle of settlement for the divorce. Maybe it's happening right now. So I need some money. And Mr. Roberts, he has been. I think he hasn't bought. Maybe he bought a small condo a while back, and he has been nagging me. And I've been showing to him like bigger houses in the market, and he has at least 2 or 3 times. Let's say 2 times he has backed off from a almost closed deal, and now he's showing him a third house for the second time, and I guess I'm getting Albert is getting a bit frustrated with although I think that's a real estate agent life, like that's the life, but I think he needs the money, and Roberts is he's always kind of indecisive, more so than his usual customer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that this guy probably has some money. Like maybe if he's like a doctor or something who got a condo for a bit while he was just like making sure they want to stay here. Now they decided that they want to stay here. He's got money. He's just like incredibly like if you land him, it's gonna be a hell of a payday to do. So he's going through this house. This is a giant. Like this is it's a big house. These two, they don't even have kids yet. This has got like just a bunch of rooms. It's got like an opening on the back, like the golf course kind of comes up through the back. And we'll say it's like mid 6 figures or more. I don't know what the exact thing would be. And as he's kind of going through and looking at it, and he's like, not bad, not bad. How far do you think they're going to come down in the price?
Listen, Mr. Rogers. So, can I call you John? I think I can call you John.
Sure.
This is a really good price at this point. I mean, in this neighborhood, for this what you're looking at right now, golf course, pool, huge backyard. It's not gonna come down. In fact, I would say if you look around, you wouldn't find a better deal.
Possibility, but yeah, ask you something, Albert. Is this what you wanted to do since you were a kid? Be a real estate agent?
If I want my kid to be a real estate agent.
No, is that what you wanted to do since you were a kid? This is the kind of thing you dreamed of? Like, is this your goal?
Well, I tell you, my neighborhood, I started with a lemonade shack. I was selling lemonade. It was the best lemonade in the neighborhood. And I'm telling you, this is as good as it gets. I know this suburb. And I've tried to sell the best thing to the best people. And that's you right now. Yeah.
He goes,
Cliche, yeah.
listen, you had that little lemonade stand. Right now, you don't own your own real estate company. You're working for somebody else. You started off wanting to create something on your own. I'm a doctor. I did the thing I want to do, and you know how I got to be there? By not taking no when it was given to me when I knew I could do better. I have a feeling we could do better here. So he's trying to, what he wants to do is push, like, it sounds like you want him to settle for like maybe not going for quite so much.
Yeah, I mean, if he buys it, if he signs off, if he buys it, then I think I think Albert would might be able to drop the price down a bit, but
So what I'm gonna do is for him. So the way we roll for these, for you, it's the same except you use the real life thing for the relationship.
Yeah.
So for him, I've got the I've got the act die and the difficulty.
Okay, and am I still gonna roll threaten, or is it a convince? Or
This one sounds like more like you're trying to convince him.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually say for him, he's a little harder to convince because he kind of like decided what he wanted. I think he's one of those guys that like, like you should be able to get him the thing that he wants, and wants to be like, well, listen, I succeeded because I never settled for less. He's one of those dudes. So I'm gonna give a D8 on that one, but it's a D4 for the act die. So I have rolled a 3. So now what you'll do is you'll roll your stat, and then the D6 for the real life. Because D6 it's the same top bottom. And if it succeeds, what it'll do is it'll take down the level by 1.
Okay, so I think I put my second D6 also on convince. So and I roll the highlighted. So basically stage 2, real life. So it's again a D6. Is that right? Yeah. So.
Okay.
Oh, wow! It's barely it's a 4.
Yeah, that succeeds. I got a 3. So after he told you, he goes, I get what I'm where I wanted because I've done the work and I haven't taken no. I still think we can do better.
So I guess the last part.
Oh,
so
he goes, I still think we can do better. So what's your response to that?
Okay.
You have succeeded, so you will.
John, I know you're a stand-up guy. So if you want this house, I really want it. We can make the deal now, and I'm gonna drop off. I can drop off. I don't know. Did we say 6 figures? I don't know. I could drop off.
Yeah, we'll say $500,000.
Okay. Drop off 25K.
Kind of takes a moment. Like looks at you. It's like he's trying to like measure you almost, as he just sort of like looks into your eyes and then kind of takes a look and goes, "You're positive that's as far down as you're going to be able to take it?"
I am.
You like someone who knows what he's about. All right, draw up the papers.
All right, you're not gonna regret this. So, and we cut or
Yeah, so the cut. And so what you'll do now is go ahead and reduce where he's staked to a 1.
okay, so it goes okay.
Yeah, so you heal that relationship. So if you bring it up again, the minimum you can do, which was minimum already, was a D4. But that's there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so since we had you kind of calling out and pushing some of the other scene, I did something similar here. And now for Jane. So you have Kathy up there.
Good old Kathy.
Yep. Does Kathy seem to have it in for you, or does she just seem to be like kind of naturally pleasantly unpleasant to people?
I don't think she has it in for me specifically. My guess is that she is a failed like she tried to get a job as a professor and couldn't, and so she ended up in administration.
Okay.
But still feels like she knows how classes should be taught, and like she gives out lesson plans to the teachers that they're forced to with like dumb textbooks. You know what I mean? Like, so she's not necessarily antagonistic as sort of clueless in ways that affect what everyone else has to deal with and do on a daily basis.
Okay. She comes by your office as well. It's me, Jane. It's Kathy.
Come in.
She comes in, kind of looks back, shuts the door, and sits down with just like she has always got kind of that like that smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. This time it's reaching her eyes. She goes, right. So, Ambrose, asked some questions about you. Apparently, you got under his skin a little bit.
Well, I was perfectly polite, so I don't know. I don't know what he would have to complain about.
From what I heard, pointing out the fact that he is maybe a little, maybe inappropriate with some of the students. Remind me, did we come up with a thing where he was sort of seeing like grad assistants?
Yeah, but we never said it officially. It was
Yeah.
like, I
Or-
know how love or how meaningful it can be to mentor or otherwise take a special interest in a student.
Okay.
And then he backed off because he realized I knew.
Yeah. She goes, we could file a complaint.
I assume that would imagine one of the students in question coming forward. Do we have any who are willing to say anything?
I might be able to see what I can bring up, but he definitely is kind of quietly making a stink about it enough that something's going on. Something's there.
I mean, of course, I respect Mr. von Reibenfeld's accomplishments in the field, but if you're looking to take action in this matter, I would be happy to cooperate. For the well-being of the students.
Well, I don't know if you want to speak with or possibly ask around. If I start coming around, it's feels more official. But if you were,
Are you asking me to try to figure out who all this is going on with and to speak to the students, Kathy?
she goes, listen, we both know that he's kind of. Did we? What did we decide? Your what was your was it architecture?
What
was your field?
Decided on theater.
Oh, theater. It's just like, look, so we've got this. Oh, playwright. That's right. It was a playwright song.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Because it was the one player where he was like, yeah, I wish you could fix her, her
grade on.
yeah,
theater.
her grade. It's like, really, her grade.
Yeah.
Just, you know how he's got success. He's well known. He comes in with this mentor figure. Like, all of them want to be where he's at. You know how these guys treat these women in particular like they're nothing, and they try to raise the guys up to adore them. Like, listen, I don't like most of the ones we get. This guy's even creepier than we normally have. Any ideas who it might be?
Disagree. I feel as an adjunct, my power here in the university is pretty limited, and I wouldn't want to be risking my employment here, given I feel very lucky to have a position at all at such a prestigious institution as at our wonderful
University of.
Yeah.
I don't think we decided on the actual.
It's the best university in the southwest part of the state. Of the two.
I think right now it would be hard to actually come after you. If you're just looking out for possible abuses, just talk to someone, and then I can come talk to her. If I officially start poking around, it becomes a bigger thing. And I don't know who it might be because I don't know. I'm not around the students day to day the way you would be. I mean, it used to be. It was great.
Okay. Well, I suppose just to be straightforward, would you be willing to, look out for me, have my back if this were to have some backlash? You're the head of the department. Everyone, takes you very seriously, and
she kind of like pulls herself up a little bit. You see like the older actors start to like kind of pop out, and she goes, I can't imagine anyone who would come here and have a problem with one of our professors caring deeply enough about the students to make sure that they were actually being looked after and make sure that they were not being taken advantage of by someone that might come through. And the fact that you would go after one of our most beloved adjunct professors seems to me like the kind of thing that someone who's got something to hide would do. Like
Well,
that.
I was not implying that you would come after me.
That's what I would say for you.
Oh.
And she says the moment she goes, I was acting. Is it? I haven't done it in a while. I'm sorry, but like if they come up, what? I've got your back.
Well, I really appreciate that, Kathy, and knowing that the head of my department is on my side, I will obviously do what I can to suss out what's going on and hopefully be able to protect our students from anybody acting in an inappropriate or predatory manner. I'm really glad that you came to chat with me. That conversation with Mr. von Reibenfeld was not my favorite, and I am surprised that he would have brought it up to anyone, to be frank. But it looks like it's all working out for the best, and hopefully we can clean up anything that needs to be cleaned up and keep our campus safe for aspiring writers and everyone else.
Okay. And do you go to talk to this girl?
Sure.
Okay. Actually, we'll be in luck. All three of you are having a drink after rehearsal at the brewery. And it's one where it's sometimes hard to find some of the theater kids. It was one of those things that was like on a Friday. A lot of times, I know that essentially at ISU, theater classes did not meet on Fridays. Partly because of rehearsals and like tech stuff could happen on the weekends, but also partly because we can squeeze it all into 4 days. We can drink on Thursdays. But it's one of those where I weren't here that day, but the three of you were there after rehearsal, and you see her come in with a group of friends. Let me go on her name generator. 'Cause mine is over on the other thing. Terry Florell. All right, so the three of you are there after rehearsal. Oh, got that on there. When Terry comes in, what are y'all doing?
We're having a post-rehearsal drink, you said, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe we're at one of those tables that's like near the bar, like the high tables with the stools. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm drinking something like a French martini, the one with what's that liqueur? The raspberry liqueur has the fancy name, and it's like that and vodka and pineapple juice, I wouldn't say, but like a sophisticated girly drink essentially.
I think Albert buys a round of drinks because he's happy with his selling the house, so a round of drinks on me. And I think he just drinks beer or something. Is it? I don't know if it's Dan's. I guess it's not Dan's brewery where we hang out. He could work there, so unless it is.
Oh, I think it might be. I plan to be like taking a break in my post-rehearsal shift and sitting down with some people I recognize from the community theater.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We do that a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Not a great employee.
Yeah, Kimmy's working. Let's go visit.
Well, thanks, Albert. That's awfully kind of you. You seem like you're in a good mood tonight.
Yeah, he went for it. I'm pinching myself. I mean, is this happening? I don't know. I guess it's happening.
that you've been talking about for like the
Yeah.
last 2 months or whatever
Rogers,
it is.
yeah, Rogers, yeah, the highfalutin, yeah, the doctor, you know, he's a surgeon.
That's
and-
great news.
yeah, it's amazing.
What happened?
You know, I just, you know, my acting came through. That it was leading up to that. You know, I told him about my my childhood, you know, project, and which was disaster, but I didn't mention that. And then I gave him like a 5% discount, whatever. I want to talk about work now. It feels good, you know, get a break.
Absolutely. You know, you brought some King Schafskäse to
Yeah, Schafskäse. I don't know. I still need to get that. Yeah. I don't know. Schafskäse is kind of a disaster. But, yeah.
He's still the king. He's the king. I'm just saying. Today you're the king. You know.
We'll see. So, Tom, what pale ale? Which pale ale do you recommend? Because I don't know. I'm confused. You got 7. I don't know.
Yeah, we've got it's a real popular style. This one's a real dank one. It smells like weed. That's why we call it 420 beer. This one's real fruity. You know, it's got your stone fruits and stuff. This one's a double. You don't want that. This one's a triple. That's like, I don't want that. And this one's like a sessionable. It's real lightweight. It's a nice like chill out beer. Also kind of dank. Also smells a little like ganja. Yeah, as far as recommend, like I think standard strength is good. So like I'd say 1, 2, or 6.
Wow. Yeah. So I didn't mean to get you into a job mode, but yeah, that sounds good. I'm gonna get the. He's not working, right? I'm just gonna order from someone else, right? In the bar, or is he actually working?
Oh, I can go put your order in. That's
okay.
great.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the fruity one. I don't know.
I will say, if you want your character to be working, we have definitely all gone out afterwards to, like, someone who will work after a rehearsal, just gone to the bar that they work at. So you can either be working or just there as
oh yeah, I'm cool with working. I'm like, I'll be in and out of the table.
Okay.
Cool. So what's up with you? What's Dal? Sorry, Pearl? What's the character's name?
Jane
How's,
Dally Rollins.
How's are you gonna get tenure or what? How long have you been there? That's a joke.
Are you familiar with the current state of the university system? They're not creating 10-year jobs for adjuncts at the best school in the southwestern part of our glorious state. You know, I'm hoping to stay on as an adjunct at least, because it's not like there are a bunch of playwriting professorship jobs just floating around. But you know, I think things are going okay, at least as well as they're going to, which for someone in my position. There's some controversy in the department, though, so it's kind of why I need a drink. You know, I'm trying to take some initiative, but it just feels like, I don't know, jobs are so precarious, you know.
At that point, Terry walks by. Hi, Professor. They call you Dally Rollins, or just Rollins?
Yeah.
Or Dally? Hi, Professor Dally Rollins.
Or like DR, Professor DR.
DR, yes.
Like JDR, that's what they call me.
JDR.
Professor JDR.
Yeah. She goes, hey, JDR, and she's going by with some friends.
What's your name? Sorry.
Terry.
Terry. Oh, hey, Terry.
Terry Florell.
Okay, so they go by with some friends, and then I'm gonna like look at you guys at the table to be like, it's actually like what I was just talking about. I'm supposed to talk to her about something. Do you think, like, should I approach her, like, you know, pretend I'm going to the bathroom and then just stop by her table and like try to let her know I'm hoping to have a chat somehow, or is that weird?
I think that's normal. Like the tables are kind of not very spaced out. Like give her the sort of pass and bump accident, and then turn and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's you. By the way, I have this thing. Oh, also, I brought you another French martini, creme de cassis. the bartender had to
Okay.
Google that one.
Wow, this guy.
All right. Well,
Go for it.
maybe I'm gonna take a few sips, because this is super. Did I tell you guys what the controversy is?
Mm,
Oh.
So there's this like douchebag visiting lecturer, one of those guys who like, you know, like wrote one play that took off and now thinks he's like the new Shakespeare, and wanders the hall, you know, like a, I don't know, peacock with his feathers out or something. And he was kind of giving me a hard time about the grade of a certain student's paper, that he thought it was worth a much higher grade than I had chosen to give. And I already felt like I was generous in giving it the grade I had given it, as it was clearly very derivative of his work and not original at all. And I, just mentioned that he seemed to be taking a special interest in her, and he kind of backed off in a way I wasn't really expecting. And then the head of my department came by and said that apparently there are more rumors that he's maybe abusing his position with some of the grad students. And she asked me to talk to the students because she said if she did, it would look like too official and like be to maybe scare them off. She's not always the clearest communicator, but she felt like, if I just put feelers out, it would, then if it weren't true or whatever else, it wouldn't feel like there was undue like official investigation that he could retaliate against or whatever. So she said she'd have my back if somehow there were backlash. And I think, at least in her mind, she was sincere. She's not always the most helpful, but, I really don't want to risk my job, but I do actually want to look out for the students. This guy is clearly a predatory asshole. And, presumably she looks up to him, and that's how this is happening. But one, I'm not going to inflate her grades because, playwright McEgo Pants asked me to. And two, she may not realize that it's an abuse of power, and that, she has agency as a young woman. So I would like to talk to her, but it's kind of a touchy subject, hey, student, so I hear you're sleeping with the visiting guy.
Yeah, you might want to feel that out with your HR department, like your title. I looked at this the other day. Title IX, Title VII coordinator. Like that's maybe you might chat with them about the proper way to go about this. It's just
Maybe
there's a lot.
Before I talk to her, I should.
But this is a golden opportunity for some interesting gaming conflict. So I think also you should do that.
Yeah. No, I know. I was like, oh, wait, that is the sensible thing to do, but we're here presumably for this conflict.
Well, players don't do the sensitive thing. We do the sensible. We do the interesting.
Okay, so yeah, you're probably right. That would be that's certainly the sensible thing to do. But I don't know. She's not the sort to come to office hours. Certainly not with me, presumably because she's meeting with, and should probably lay off the insults. But I don't really want to.
You think this guy's gonna step in? He's gonna appear?
I mean, I think he's already stepping in, as it were. So it's like, I don't know if he has, made her false promises for being successful at university or otherwise coerced her perhaps. And I want her to know that, if she wants to take action to, protect herself or even just that she should know that he, if he's making her promises, that he's doing so that aren't true, in case, you know, I don't want her to feel like betrayed, or I just, you know, it's an abuse of power, and it feels like it should be addressed. And I don't think she's going to come to me, so I feel like here's an opportunity I have to talk to her, like, where I don't have to, like, stop her after class and the other students could notice, you know. So, you know, maybe I should just trust it'll be okay. Should I just trust it'll be okay? I'm just gonna trust it'll be okay.
Okay. I mean, I think that's fine. I think, yeah, whatever you want to do.
I mean, maybe what I'll plan on doing is just like introducing sort of a, like, you can come talk to me, and then I'll go, but I haven't like said anything. It could be harmful, and I'll go talk to HR first thing tomorrow. That way, if she does come talk to me, I'll be prepared.
Yeah, sort of just sort of slide it under. Hey, you know, you can always talk to me, by the way, if you have anything going on. You can, I'm like, I care about you students, and that's what I've got to say.
You're right. I'm really glad I brought this up with you. It's been really tormenting me, and you know, I probably would have had like 3 too many martinis in worrying about it if I. So, thanks, Tom.
Yeah, I think I'm also drinking at this all this time. Yeah, my husband drinking.
All right, I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna take like one more sip from my martini.
All right.
I'm gonna do it.
All right.
Maybe one more sip. Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. All right. So I get up and walk towards the bathroom. Which luckily her table's on the way, and she's on the outside chair.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a crowded bar, so it's, I think, you know, I managed to bump her subtly enough that it's not stupid looking.
Mm-hmm. That looks up.
And then, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
What?
Oh no, I just responded her on there.
Alexa, nobody cares. What? All right, Alexa's unplugged.
Oh, thought that was your roommate for a second. It's just like, oh, is this going to be?
No. Is she in the NPCs anywhere, like, that I can look at?
Oh, yeah. I just made the note down right next to it. I put a little thing that says real life.
Oh, there we go. Terry V. Floral. Right. Okay. So, Terry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bump you, but glad to see you out having fun. How have you been doing?
Good. You know, working, writing. I mean, there's been a couple contests that he suggested I sent some stuff into, and I think it's looking really good. I've been working on those, and matter of fact, I think. I don't know when your show goes up, but we're gonna be doing. I've got like a 10-minute that might be going up at the end of the semester in the little 10-minute festival, and I think you, like, if I could, if you wanted to read it or something, I think you'd be great in one of the roles. I mean, because I know you sometimes do that.
Yeah. I'm currently working on a play that's coming out pretty soon, but I'd be happy to take a look at it. You know, it's always great to connect with students, and especially ones who are serious about what they're doing. And you know, if you ever have anything you want to talk to me about, like the play or anything else at the university, you know, my doors are always open at the office, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be about my class. You know, if anything at the university is if you need advice, you know, or just help figuring something out with anything in the department or anything like that, you know, we're here for you. So
okay. So in some respects here, so I'll go ahead and roll for her. There's something you're basically trying to get her to, without having to just outright say it.
I'm trying to connect with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got an 8 total.
Okay.
And so you'll use your connect plus what is the real life for that you have right now for the D6? Yeah, for Kathy.
For Kathy? Yeah, it looks like I'm at a D6 level.
Yeah, so you use a D6 for that as well.
So 2d6s. Okay. 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 Nope, I hit a thing. Okay. What? No. What? Sorry. The website like reloaded. All right. Here we go. So I got an 8.
Too, I think tie is probably in that case. I'll cool making that a tie thing for players. I think I put a thing in there for that. Yeah, go ahead and reduce your the relationship with Kathy by 1, so it's only stick to 1 instead of 2. And yeah, she just goes, actually, if I could come by tomorrow, I have a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
could-
I have office hours from 2:30 to 4:30. Does that time frame work for you?
That works. I'll be able to stop in. Yeah, that would be cool. It would be nice to get your opinion on something.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll look forward to your coming by. I don't have anybody signed up, so yeah, I will. I will just look forward to that. I'm glad we ran into each other, Terry. Should probably get back to my friends, but they're actually in the play. My other actors in the play I'm in, and I will see you tomorrow.
Awesome. I will see you then.
Great. And I'm gonna go into the bathroom, even though I don't need to go to the bathroom, and stand there awkwardly for the right amount of time for someone to be in the bathroom, and then head back out and sit back down and be like, I think it worked. Like, I mean, I didn't say anything overt, but I like tried to reach out, and I think maybe she said she was going to come by my office hours tomorrow to talk about something, and kind of was a little bit vague about what it was, but I get the vibe that maybe she's going to open up. Maybe it's, I can actually help her. I'll go in early to go to HR, but like,
All right.
do something good in the world for once. This is great, right?
That's awesome. That's great. That's why you got into education.
Yeah, no, I I'm still not going to raise her grade, but if I can help her otherwise, that would be great. And maybe I'll get a win like Albert has today. Maybe it's like, this could be our week, guys.
Yeah.
Let's drink to that, huh? Toast.
Cheers.
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 And it sounds like a good place to cut to Act 3. Okay, so Act 3 sounds like a good place to start. Will probably be with Prince Connor.
Do you mind if we take just a few minutes bio break?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, I'll be right
Take a
back.
few.
Yeah.
him. There are a couple drinking role-playing games out there.
Oh, I know. I know because we just played one.
Which one?
The Wine Queen, the Crowning of the Wine Queen, LAOG by Garrett. And some of us did not realize how often in the game the drinking song, after which everyone would take a drink, was going to take place over the 4-hour game. And we're playing characters that were alcoholics, so we're making sure to take like a nice big drink at the beginning of the game when that song was played, and then realized by about a third of the way through that we had already sung the song like the total number of times I had initially anticipated we would sing it, and started taking smaller sips, but by then I think it was too late, and I brought up water to like alternate some of the time. I ran out of the water, so I had to switch back to wine, and yeah, watching the replay video, in which like the final dancing scene that I was in was, yeah, just a little more uninhibited than I think I would have maybe gone otherwise. And then the debrief in which I was just like, those scenes were hot. Like I was just like, oh, I next time maybe some juice.
I think we're taking one called Avarice, which is based on Dwarf Fortress, to Gen Con to do after my friend Mikey's shows. So, because he gets a little liquored up during those, and he's like, yeah, bring this, we'll play some afterwards. So, do kind of late at night getting hammered playing a game where you're playing a group of dwarves who are drinking a lot and watching their fortress crumble.
Awesome.
Cool. We might hit some of the Act 3 stuff a little quick, because a little after 4:30 I've got a bit of a hard out. I want to get a little bit of ideas of how things are clear for you and stuff like that. This is the first time you play. All right, so making sense to start with Prince Connor in the... you've actually been taken to the dungeon.
Oh, okay.
Like you're kind of thrown into the cells, and the weird thing was they also threw Sylvia in one of them.
Okay.
But the actor was like, you kind of hear her voice from something, then she steps off stage because it's like her cell is like visible, but you can't quite see. You hear her voice. Then she comes in on as Monica, the counselor. She walks in and just like looks at you and goes, "He's a good deal smarter than you, and that helps." So,
who do you mean is a good deal smarter than me?
oh, the person we're going to replace you with.
You found me.
Yes, we found a better you.
Oh well, that's That's awfully fortuitous for you. That's fantastic. So now, why am I in here?
Well, because what we can't do is allow you to get out with everyone else because, well, you're not going to be Prince. We have someone who will be under my thumb who looks a whole lot like you that will.
And do my parents know about this?
They don't have to, because as far as anyone's concerned, you are still around, doing the things you do, perhaps a little bit smarter than you were, and a lot more controls.
Again, this sounds great for everyone, except I am in here. You understand that, right? So I can't be. I am very confused, Monica.
She goes, well, all I'm going to say is I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would. Guards, make sure that he doesn't see light for quite some time.
Oh.
So a bit of time passes. It's like the stage thing. Lights kind of come down. We might see like clocks projected up on the walls. And then after a bit, we have a different guard. Kind of comes in. Quiet in there.
Oh, sorry, guard. How long has it been? I need food. I need water. Guard, I need.
Fine. Goes through with some water, grabs some food, and hands it to you through the bars, and then just like takes a moment, looks at you. Wait. Aren't you the prince?
I am. Guard, I am. But don't breathe a word of it to anyone. I am that prince. The other prince, have you seen him around? Have you seen him acting strangely, saying things that are smart and coherent? That's not me. I'm the one down here. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that I would do anything for a kangaroo beer. Kangaroo beer, the most refreshing of all beers. And Tom looks out into the empty house and he says, are you sure it's okay to put the product placement in the script? Is that a thing that
They're sponsoring, yeah.
Okay. I mean,
theater and
great.
commerce go together.
I love it. Okay, then I'm gonna sell this. Okay, so we'll take it back from I would do anything. I would do anything for a kangaroo beer. The greatest beer that's ever passed my lips. The truest ale anyone in this town has ever seen. Guard, is there any way that you can get me out of this god-awful prison and get me to the local brewery? Yes, Kangaroo Brewery, down on the corner of Main and Throckmorton, where they're open from 5 till 9 this very evening.
If you look in your programs, you will see how wonderful the bar there is. I love it. It's my favorite. I go ahead and make a roll. So I rolled an 8. There was just 2d6s with the act die and the difficulty.
Okay. And I'm gonna say, let's see here. I guess I'll stake the relationship with the boss on this. So I'll stake it at a 2, maybe. Yeah. Cool. So that is a D6 and I think this is trying to convince. That's a D6, so 2D6. 2 and submit. All right, that is an 8.
All right, give ties to the players. Go ahead, you can knock that relationship down by 1.
Cool.
No, I'm sorry. You don't knock it down by 1 because it's not a real life scene. Just raise it up 1 since you succeeded from whatever it was before. So you did it at D6. Was that one already at a D6 or was that at a D4 before?
It was at a D4 before.
So yeah, it'll be a D. Regardless, it would have gone to the same level because even if you failed, it would have just gone to where you'd staked it.
Okay.
Okay. He goes, well, yeah, the kind of grabs stuff, opens it up, lets you out, and goes, yeah, I don't know how you got down here, but could have been at that point. Sylvia pokes her head out and is like, could I be let go too? Okay, yeah. Unlocks the door, and then they're able to take off.
Sweet.
For the king, is there anyone in particular? You want me to have someone come to you, or is there someone you would be going to see or talk to?
Yeah, I'm not sure. After Monica, let's see. The other guard, so Margie is a... Who's Margie? Margie, I forgot. Margie and Reynold, the thief.
Margie and Ronald the thief are both in the town.
What about the queen? Having had this
Could be.
encounter,
Yeah, I
like,
figured the queen or possibly Stefano.
Yeah, I'm good with either. Yeah, Stefan also.
I think Stefano lets us kind of push things ahead a little bit more,
Okay.
especially with him being ensorcered by Monica. So it comes Prince Connor. Well, we believe it to be Prince Connor. We know it's Stefano because the actual actors playing these two people who look identical do not look that much alike. As one as I recall, yeah, Dave's a marriage counselor. I think he's a good deal older than Tom. So as he comes in, the prince comes in, just sort of seeming a lot more full of vigor and life than you've seen before. Like his eyes seem a little more focused. As he comes in, it's like, King, or should I soon say father?
Ah, my soon-to-be son. I see. I think the change of outfits and common and back to prince has made wonders for you. You look better somehow. I can't explain it.
I believe the heir in your kingdom has done a great deal to just make me feel better about everything, life in general, this whole place.
I'm glad to hear it, and it will. Our fresh air is going to do good also for your sheep, your countless sheep that will join our kingdom after your wedding. How are the preparations going for your wedding?
They're going very well. For the most part, other people are taking care of a good deal of it. I have been talking with your counselor, Monica.
You have.
At length. There are some things we think that will be useful to bring our two kingdoms a little closer together that could use perhaps some of your royal stamp on them. Some trade agreements, other things.
Interesting that you've been talking about this with Monica. Yes, that's very industrious of her. Well, what things are you proposing?
There's some things with trade that, in particular, she had an interest in. She keeps track of a number of the coming and goings of the merchant caravans through here. There are ways to make it safer and also to make more money for all of us once our two kingdoms are combined.
Interesting. Well, I'm a great admirer of the ship milk in your kingdom, and if we were to get exclusive use of that for as a nourishment, and also to add to our alcohol, to our beverages and our wine, because we all know that the milk from your region is the best. If we can put a stamp on that, so to speak, I'm sure I can do whatever you want also about the trade routes. And but I have to say you surprised me. I always thought you were you weren't interested in these affairs.
He sort of sits down, goes, just feels sometimes like you meet the right person. And you realize that life is really not something to let go by you. You need to grab hold in ways I never have before. And I met your daughter and just realized I haven't been taking things seriously enough in my life, and I need to change that.
So you're reaching out for, you realize life is a butterfly and you will not let it go. Is that it? And then, good to hear that. So, do we have a deal for? Can we get all your the milk, and can I use the brand like integrate the milk into our wineries here and have a new beverage that will conquer all inns in both kingdoms? That's, to be honest, that's what I've always wanted.
Okay. I rerolled for him, got a 6 to see if he'll let that part happen.
Is that? I don't know if it's. I guess. I guess they're both trying to convince each other.
I can also see connect there as well, just from.
Okay. Yeah, I still don't know if the king is good at connecting. Maybe I will put D4 and D8. I think he thinks he's good, but he fumbles. So I think I'm gonna put a low die on him for D4 plus. So I'm gonna stake the relationship with his ex-wife, probably at a 2 again. So I have a D6 and a D4. Okay, D4 and D6, and I roll. Nope, I got a 5.
And he just goes, at this moment, we can't necessarily guarantee that. However, we can start up some of those, because it's one of the things that our kingdom is known for. And, well, until I'm in your position, I don't know if I could necessarily do that. What did you stake the relationship at?
It was a 2.
Okay, yeah, so I'll just go ahead and highlight that at a 2.
Yeah.
Because, speaking of, when were you planning on leaving the kingdom? Death, or is this more? Are you planning on stepping down and enjoying your retirement?
Well, I'd like to supervise a bit in the beginning. Well, or my wife, I would say. But we will take our time. I mean, I wouldn't leave immediately after the wedding. I think I would stay around for a while. Do you have any problems with that?
No, I was just more curious. I will speak with Monica and get a number of these things in order. Do we send anything that needs to be signed to you?
Well, you can send what you want, like the trade agreement or the route, whatever you want, and I will look at it. Wow, but you really are a changed man. What a butterfly can do. You've opened your wings, so to speak.
I have.
Wow.
At which point he then kind of nods and then heads off on his own. And I believe Princess Schmetterling wanted to bring in a confidant, or do you want to do that now, or?
I'm gonna get the hang of the mute button one of these days. Today, not probably that day, but this is how you know whether I'm the princess or the teacher. Only if it's breaking.
Mm-hmm.
But we could certainly do that now.
Okay. Or unless you had someone else you wanted to.
I mean, I think the princess is serious that she would not practice any impropriety. So it would either be with this NPC or that she would go with an escort to talk to who she thinks is Prince Connor.
I think it'd be more fun if you were with the confidant and then Prince Connor snuck in.
Oh, no. Okay. I'm in for it, but knowing it's going to end in disaster.
Possibly.
Possibly.
The hilarious thing is if then you have to hide him.
I'm not hiding him. Anyway, okay.
Okay. Is Helena okay for the confidence name, or do you have an idea in mind?
That's fine.
Okay, you said you wanted this to be someone from a different.
Oh, she can be from here and be like my handmaiden, or someone. It would be if I'm gonna go visit. No, I'm not. It's the confidant. So yeah, either my my lady in waiting, who would be from here, or I was thinking I would like write a letter to my neighboring princess. So it was just
Or it could be the other princesses arrived because the wedding is coming up shortly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So either way, whoever you want to play.
Okay.
As my confidant.
Okay. I do kind of like the idea of it being another princess.
Okay.
Nearby. Kind of put you on the same level.
Yeah. Well, and all the more startling for both of us when someone else comes in. I think.
Okay.
So what's her name?
Princess Helena.
No, unacceptable. Milo. I can't find her in the thing. What's her name?
Oh, I just put down Princess Helena, the confidant, also
Helena.
played by Helene Godot.
Ah, right. Okay. So, Princess Helena. Milo Ventimiglia von Fluffit Stuff. Don't make me use your full name. He's gonna go on the list in my log. Princess Helena, you know that I have been always trying to be, the model princess, and to a degree that you've kind of, teased me about, which, like, fine, I know I'm a goody-goody, but, I'm going to inherit a kingdom and a king who's a simpleton, so I need to be prepared. But my parents, they seem to not trust me. Like, I can't make another freaking weaving. Like, my fingers are gonna fall off here, like the tutelage and etiquette. How many forks do we need? And yet here I am trying to learn all the things, and they still treat me like I'm some problem kid. They had their counselor, who I'm pretty sure is evil and I'm definitely beheading eventually, barge into my chambers looking for the prince, like I was hiding him somewhere in my closet. They're the ones making me marry him. Why would I even want to hide with him? What would we talk about? He doesn't have anything to say. She brings in guards with her, one of whom was a man, the sort of thing that, I have been taught not to have, strange men in my chambers looking through my undergarments. I was in my night clothing. And this counselor woman, Monica, basically threatened me. She was making it out like she had all the power, as though she even wore
she was a
crown.
She's not royalty.
Exactly. And I confronted my parents about it, and it was a little bit shady. They didn't seem to take seriously the fact that one of our staff was literally making very thinly veiled threats.
And what would they do? What would they do if that same staff member said something to one of them?
Thank you. Right? God. I mean, if I'm of the age that I'm about to get married, I'm an adult.
Right?
They're the ones who decided I should get married right now. So if they, think I'm ready for that, then they should treat me like, a very soon to be married. Well, are they going to have people barging in to search our quarters once we have wed? I mean, it's ridiculous. And to have a staff member speak to me, thank you. I knew you would understand. You always understand. It's like you can't talk to someone who isn't a princess about princess stuff. They don't know.
Don't understand.
So I just can't believe, one, that my parents don't trust me. Why do I even go? Why do I even go to the oratory classes and all that? And then that this woman, which like look out for her, Monica. She's like,
And then you hear a knock at the door.
God, it's probably her.
Schmetterling,
Prepare your best princess scowl.
my love.
Oh, Prince Connor.
Yes. Is your door locked or?
I don't imagine it is.
Okay.
No.
Door opens, and he steps in. I know you're here with company, so it wouldn't be at all amiss.
I suppose you're right, my sweet. I'm not sure how you knew I was with company, but you must have just used your superior intellect to have sussed it out. The one with which you will help me run our kingdom. So what brings you here, oh love of my heart, who will soon be taking my maidenhood?
He does this moment of just like, I was hoping to see you before the wedding a bit and get to know you perhaps a bit more, a bit better.
Well, I'm sure we could arrange a chaperoned walk around the palace gardens, or some other such suitable, appropriate venue.
I'm sure we'll arrange it. I also thought I might ask, shortly afterwards, after the wedding, would you like a tour of my land to see the other places that we will rule together?
Of course. If,
Was talking with Monica. We've been doing a great deal to actually, essentially bring our two kingdoms together, doing a lot of the groundwork, and I'm looking forward to working with her and with you to make this really something special.
Well, I really appreciate that you're taking such an interest in things. But I wouldn't look forward to working with Monica too much. I I don't know that she's going to remain an active part of the castle staff indefinitely. But I would be happy to work with you on uniting the two kingdoms. I have been studying since childhood about the delicate nature of ruling responsibly and all the things that a princess and eventually queen would need to know. So you won't need to be consulting with the staff on those matters. They have no idea what it's like to rule a kingdom, and like I said, just might not end up being actively employed here.
Yes.
Or anywhere.
I believe, as someone who will soon be king, it is important that she will be actively employed, because she and I have been working together quite closely already in a number of things that she has some skills at. So, I will put my foot down in this. Not only will she be employed, but we'll need her to continue being the spy master, because of all that she's already done. I've rolled a 12 on that to see how well this goes.
What options do I have? I have to stake a relationship, and then I can pick what I'm about to do.
Yep.
All right. I will escalate my conflict with. I'm gonna go escalate conflict with Jim. I haven't even had a scene with him yet. But our next date's gonna be pretty disastrous, I imagine, because I'm definitely not backing down on this one. I have been looking forward to beheading Monica for a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and take a 3 there, and I'm going to threaten her. So I have 2 d8s to roll, which at least gives me a chance at beating you. Not a good chance, because I always roll really poorly.
I've been rolling weirdly well today.
Yeah. I feel like this is not going to work, and I will have staked all that for nothing, but, whatever. So 2 d8s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. I'm still going to yell at you.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess it won't work. Well, my darling apple of my heart, and betrothed to me so luckily by my parents, who always exercise good judgment. I see that you're putting your foot down. And I would just like for you to consider that you might want to put other things places, and that other people might have opinions about that they would put their foot down about, if you continue to feel as strongly as you do about Monica. I might also feel strongly about things, and if you're looking to put body parts in places, you just might want to keep in mind that you have more than just feet.
Because he sort of smiles, and there's like a moment where they do like a sort of a stage trick where as he speaks a little bit more slowly so that she can also do Monica's voice, so it almost layers in on top of them. So like her voice is coming from off stage a little bit while he speaks. Your character can respond to it a little bit because you'll be aware of it, but Helena will not be.
Okay.
He goes, I believe in time. You'll come around to my way of thinking, one way or the other.
You know, as a princess, I have spent many years studying diction and proper ways of speaking. And with all that in mind, and knowing that I have many responses that I could give to you that would be both appropriate and befitting someone of my station, I'm going to tell you to fuck off. I am onto you, and I will behead you eventually.
At that point, it just sort of smiles, lights start to go down. Probably a good end to Act 3. I would say what I normally would have done is, because I knew I get sort of a heart out and wanted to debrief a little bit at the end, was probably take, not do a conflict for Vasily's thing with that, but then have it come in where maybe running into the actual Prince Connor. And I kind of threaded some of those before getting to the conflict, but I knew time-wise I wanted to kind of be able to put a cap on it since it was going to be just the one more session, and then we also needed to be out relatively soon. So yeah, it seems like a good place to call that for that one. We'll come back with the real-life segments and then 4 and 5 next week.
Sure. Okay. I'm living in a land of amusement that I never end up playing any character that I design anything like what I plan, because I always roll so poorly that like I end up needing to do things I like every game I'm like, she's gonna be really strong, and then she fails every roll. Or whatever it is. Like I just, all right, so this princess is not fucking around. We get it. All right. Not as hapless.
My dice have been strangely good for me today. It will stop for my night.
Strangely bad.
Yeah.
I mean, not strangely, because this is how it is for me all the time. But like, I feel like I need a different device entirely to use Roll20 on, because like clearly, I tell you guys about the 3 1s thing where I like used a special power that gives you an extra die so that you can like throw out your lowest die, and I managed to roll 3 1s, not just snake eyes, 3 1s.
Nice.
Like my big special move that I was planning to use to like really get this, and I was like, so I guess I do nothing, and that's the end of the scene, because either I have to do something or not. But yeah, I always roll really poorly, and it's just my lot. So I was planning on doing a lot of like, oh good heavens, thou art here in my chamber, like really goofy. No, not this princess, not anymore.
I the moment Monica showed up, you're like, no, fuck you. This is like you are not going to push me around.
Because I failed my first roll with her, and she barged in with the guards. That's how that got started, was that like my initial like, it's improper for you to be here. And you were like, I will take you out, and also I'm bringing my guards into your chamber. And I was like, all right, I guess I know how we're playing it then. Like, Schmetterling don't play.
Cool. I think one thing I kind of discovered today, I think it's less, when you roll for it, it's less sort of like, does your character win the conflict, and more does it go your way, which is a slightly, it's not quite, they're pretty close, but there's a couple places where it's more like, oh, then there'll be another, to add a complication on top of it to make it worse, something like that. So I guess, any thoughts and such, and especially, Vasily, this is your first time playing with this? How did it seem to work for you, or anything confusing?
Yeah, I like the. I mean, the pitch and the execution. Yeah, I like the duality of the like going back and forth between the play and the play and real life. Yeah, I like the how you mapped. You know what you do in a scene with someone projects to someone in the real life. That was I found that interesting. I particularly like the scene where we're all together. I would like to see like the actual actors interacting. So I wonder if it would be also interesting to have like even the third Bond being one of the other PCs. But of course, that would depend on the group if they like to have like because you also mentioned you can have a PC like a real life situation between the actors, but I guess we haven't gotten to that yet.
I figured two things with that. One, a couple of the people have the couple of the playtests people have actually done that, so we've had that go. But even if they don't, because I made a note, the pillow scene was kind of nice to bring everyone together because some of the plays are going to be can be like really intense. It's the players are kind of all together all the time, but something like this, you also want to role play together. So having those little pillow scenes gives a moment for like reflection. Here's what's going on. Gives the GM a time to flip those things, but I think make that like a permanent thing where they get together afterwards after rehearsal, or some of those as well on
It could
top
be
of
a
it.
separate phase. Yeah, that would be interesting. Also, I had a question: the die sizes between show and real life. Is that they are ascending and descending? Like, is that supposed to reflect like how easily drama escalates in the play as opposed to real life, right?
Yeah. So when it's kind of been threatened enough in the play, like you're doing better in the play to make it harder to actually succeed in the real life.
Okay.
So that the risk there was I'm going to go for the D8 in this scene, knowing that if I fail, I'll have a D4 when I get together with that character in real life.
Cool, interesting, yeah. No, I enjoyed it. Yeah. It's nice to flex like this. Like improv muscles and with two different characters. Yeah, it's interesting. A bit rusty, but yeah, I enjoyed it. So I think I'm gonna have even more feedback after the second one. But if I think of something else, I'm gonna mail you also.
Okay. I really enjoyed. God, Dan, your character.
Yeah.
I really am enjoying that as well.
Yeah.
I'm good at dumb people. I'm very good at dumb people. Yeah.
I want to see you with these other two characters so much now, especially that they have a different expectation of your character. Because of him, I really want to see that.
Oh yeah, we got to work into that. That is some Act 3, like right before intermission kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're working up to before the end of the first, before we send people out to to buy groceries.
Concessions.
Concessions. That's the word.
Yeah, I love how guileless you are. Like even with the person who's like captured you in the basement, you're like, oh well, that seems like that would be really nice for you. Maybe you could let me out of the basement, but like, I mean, if it's a better me, it's a better me.
I'm having a good time. I have realized that early on I committed to rejecting being my like go-to primary stat, and I don't know how. I don't think that's possible for this character to do at this point without just changing.
There's two ways to do it. Either you can go with, because there's two ways of looking at like lower or higher stats. Because Cortex does this a lot. You could have someone who has like expert gunman at like a D4, which means they're an expert gunman, but it causes them a lot of problems.
Oh.
So it could be something like, this is the thing that causes me trouble. You could also look at like maybe the actor is miscast, where the actor does real well on these ones, but the trouble, it's like this is not their normal thing, so it's those things are failing for the character, which has been fun so far.
Yeah, well, I'll
for some of us.
play around with that. That's cool. I hope you don't mind my jumping out of character into different character in a play scene. I think that's an interesting place to
Are
explore.
we gonna do a play in a play?
He talked to the director during, because he did the whole thing. It's this is my bit. Like, listen, are we really having the thing? And so I popped the director. It's like, yeah, art and commerce go together. Just say it. Like, I like those touches.
Okay, that might pop up. We'll keep it light, but that might pop up again.
That
That
also
would be awesome.
that also works to put it more specifically as a script change thing, where you literally could have an actor go, yeah, I'm not feeling this character-wise. You want to take a look at the script, which could give a moment to be like, oh, okay, how do we? You can almost in character figure out a fix or if something's not working. Because you do that in rehearsals sometimes. You're like, okay, yeah, this isn't working for me. What do we got to do to make this scene actually come to life?
I will definitely be bringing up to the director that it is necessary that by the end of the play I behead Monica.
Oh yeah,
Like, I can't have made that threat so many times.
yeah,
and not
we're gonna
do
see.
it. So at some point I'm gonna have to succeed at that role, or we're talking to the director.
Yeah.
Like,
We also do that big, huge confrontation. It does help that the difficulty, the act die gets more difficult in Act 4, but then goes down in Act 5.
yeah. I mean, I staked my highest level of stake, like both of my highest things, right? The threaten, which is my D8 for stats, and the level 3 in my relationship, and I still failed.
Mm-hmm.
That was the like highest level of effort I could put into that interaction, and still failed it. So, you know,
What can you do?
like either I behead her or she kills me, but I'm not sleeping with that prince, and or fake prince. And yeah, she's in the log. She has her own page at this point. Like, it's usually just a list. There is a Monica page in case I like start to lose my resolve on beheading her, to remind me of all the reasons I have. And I will be using my favorite executioner. And she will get no last words.
Okay.
She seems to, be all spell casty. So, gagged, maybe tarred and feathered, just a smidge.
I have to take off here. Kind of assume anything else before we take off?
I have had zero luck getting a hold of the person who's running Velvet Glove.
Oh.
I thought next Monday. It has changed so weirdly on the calendar. If you click on the calendar, it takes you to the previous Friday. So I think, like, I've reached out over Slack last week, haven't heard anything. So I'm going to assume that it's been altered somehow and there's no game that day. So if it's cool with you, I'll still join. I think I'm still actually signed up on for Slings and Arrows next Monday.
Sweet.
Cool. So I'm going to assume that's a go.
Yeah, I would love to have you play as much of the run as possible. I would love to see also somehow, like, for Stefano to like get free of Monica's hold even briefly, and figure out like what he's actually like when he's not just a sock puppet for Monica, and then maybe for like during that brief time period for him and Connor to like actually meet.
Oh, they have
yeah.
to meet at some point.
That's got
Like maybe then Monica gets control mid conversation again or something, but like I would actually like to see the two doppelgangers have an encounter as themselves briefly, especially because of how Connor is being played, right? Like that he'd be like, "Oh, you're the better me," or whatever you would choose to do. But like, I just think I would really like that scene. So
Yeah, and I'd love to see the king get like probably deeply involved in some aspect of one of those things.
yeah, all the things.
If that's what you're thinking of for the king.
Getting involved, yeah. I mean, I don't know, maybe confused about Prince Connor's intellect. Yeah.
I would love also to see the king whether or not he responds to it or puts it together, start to like run into signs that Monica is like clearly an evil sorceress.
Mm.
But like he, really trusts Monica and whatever else, and like to see what it would take to get the king to actually be like, wait a second, like the prince seems to change personalities a lot, and I keep finding like strange potions and like weird symbolic things carved into the walls in the castle.
Got
Like,
a shipment for sheep's blood and candles and some sort of
yeah,
big breathing skull.
Mm.
yeah. And then of course, like you can decide whether to just be like, well, that was weird, and like send someone to clean it up, or to actually be suspicious. But I would love it if more and more obvious clues started showing up. Obviously, I will notice them. Whether or not anyone will listen to me is not only unknown but unlikely. But yeah, I just think it'd be funny. Like you find an entire horse in your bed one night, like an entire dead horse, and you're like, how did that get there? Or maybe you become all kingly. I enjoy your role playing very much, and imagine whatever you come up with would be excellent. But
Well, if you got any other thoughts, let me know. I do need to get going so I can get ready for something else in a little while.
okay,
Thank you all very much.
Cool. Thanks
Have a good
everyone.
one.
That was cool.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.